What's up, guys? Couple minutes late. Sorry about that. Trying to run around getting everything sorted for today. It's a busy day for me. It's Friday morning. We have a lot to cover. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to stick to the game plan, go over the fights tonight in Australia. Just to give you a heads up of what's going down, I'm going to be doing another live today at about 12 o'clock my time. So it's 6:30 a.m. my time. I'm going to go live one more time at 12 p.m. my time. And then again tonight for the fights in Melbourne. So wherever you are in the world, you got my big head 3 times today if you dare choose to tap in. Also, go to my playlist section, Fight Predictions. If you guys are new to the channel, I say welcome. If you know me just from the live streams, I also do breakdowns, prediction analysis. Go to the playlist Fight Predictions. You'll see the Stats Don't Lie videos. This week, we got 3 up so far. I'm pressing to get up my DFG versus David Stevens breakdown and prediction. So far, we have Jazzy Parr versus May Solomon, Tiger versus Nick, Vergil versus Lubin. Those are up right now. Guys, also, I'm going to just bring the screen up real quick. We got to go over the odds. Something I spoke about earlier in the week has come to fruition. If you guys were high on Tiger Johnson to beat Nick Flaz, I was saying wait until you put your bets in because the odds were gonna swing. I went to bed last night. I still think, I mean, this is a 50-50 fight. I think it doesn't get more 50-50 than this, but the odds have switched, which is great. If you guys are Tiger fans, it's great because now we got Tiger plus money at 215. 100 on Tiger gets you your money back plus 115 bucks. The draw's 13 to 1. Nick is $1.85. 100 on Nick gets you your money back plus 85 bucks. The sexy pick at the moment on Team Tiger is Tiger by decision at 255. I mean, the value that is there when you do your film study. And then Nick, so people were picking, Nick on points 250, Nick by stoppage 580. So depending on where you are, if you're on Team Flaz, you put your bet in now. You guys are leaving money on the table, and this is what I always try to do as well. Is from the betting standpoint, this is a lifelong learning process. Um, however long you've been in the game, right? There's always something to learn with strategy. I'm not talking about the fights, but the strategy of betting, understanding the market of when money comes in and money comes out. That's another thing that you're going to get on the channel is that sort of approach. So, like I said, if you're Team Nick, you guys are leaving money on the table. I would be putting your bets in now. If you're Team Tiger, I'm going to wait till tomorrow. You guys know I'm Team Tiger. Tomorrow's my Saturday. That'll put me 24 hours away from fight night. I'm gonna wait till tomorrow to put my money on with Tiger. You guys are tapping in. We got Chilltown in the house, so I'm gonna bring TJ on real quick. We're gonna see. We're gonna say what's up to our boy at the stage.
Yo,
My guy, what's up, player?
what's up, bro?
Okay, we are good. We're rocking and rolling. Do you want me to Do you want me to bring on another screen so we could see the odds of whatever fight we're talking about? Are you able to?
Nah, I
I,
don't. What? It
okay.
don't. It doesn't matter to me. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I,
How are you
I only
first and
got like
foremost?
15, 20 minutes. I got a bunch of shit going on here. But
Go for it, brother. I know you want to talk about some fights, so
yeah, the Lubin
you have the
Ortiz fight.
microphone.
Yeah. So, I know. Let me ask you something. If Tiger wasn't from Ohio, would you be high on Tiger?
Great question. It's a very tough question for me to answer, mate. It's a,
Stop.
it's a. How am I supposed? Look, to be fully transparent with you, um, I don't know, man. I don't probably not. And I got to be honest with you too. In terms of um, who I'm a bigger fan of. This might you might not believe me. I like Nick Flaz. I'm a fan of Nick Flaz, but watching the tape, watching the evolution, I got somebody in my ear as well out of Ohio who's talking about Tiger's new coach. He fired Bernice Prentice, so he has a new camp. No one's talked. He hasn't really made that public yet, and
I thought his camp. Maybe I heard his camp was the same. He just fired his head coach,
fired his head coach,
but
which
same camp. So I don't even know if he has a new trainer, but he fired his head coach. Yeah.
yeah. So I kind of like when fighters coming off wins make changes. So there's a lot of little things, but it's a valid question. Maybe I'm a bit Ohio based, but good
But
question.
everything his coach was saying in the Boca Chica fight, because I saw what his coach was saying, to let his hands go more, because that fight, I mean, they were averaging like 10 punches landed around. It looked like a sparring match, really, between Boca Chica, who, in my opinion, was somewhat of a washed up version of himself. He was coming off the loss to Quentin Randall. Before that, he had gotten absolutely washed by Romain Villa. Romain Villa beat him from pillar to post. Like, that fight should have been stopped. And of course, we have the fight with Boca Chica versus Nicholas Flaws. And I think that's why the odds opened how they did. They have a common opponent here. And Flaws got caught early, first round. And, you know, I say this to people too. Boca Chica can crack. He's most dangerous early. If people remember, this isn't on BoxRec, but if anyone watched Boca Chica fight Brian Norman Jr., Brian Norman Jr. was almost out in the first round. That fight probably could have been stopped. He could have had a first-round knockout over Brian Norman Jr. Does that just mean we throw away Brian Norman Jr. here? Brian Norman Jr. survived and made it, and then that fight eventually got stopped due to cuts like 2 rounds later. But he had floored Brian Norman Jr. badly. Like, Boca Chica has power, so I can't read too much into that first-round knockout. Which I'm reading into is his evolution in the fights afterwards for Flaws, right? For Flaws is his opponents. He's been matched very tough. I think his resume, you know, a lot of names don't stick out to people, but for me, the names of Brian Savoya, Jahai Tucker, and especially Luke Santamaria. Luke Santamaria is a dog, man. To dominate Luke Santamaria like he did, you have to be on somewhat of a world-class level. Luke Santamaria, if you guys rate Jesus Ramos Jr., like, he was extremely competitive with Jesus Ramos Jr. I'm talking extremely competitive. If you guys rate Jesus Ramos Jr., then let me tell you something. Flaws won every minute of that round against Luke Santamaria. Beat him and stopped him. So this is all comparison. Like, you got to compare how other fighters look against this fighter. That's what I'm doing.
What style does Luke fight at? What's Luke Santamaria's style?
He's a pressure fighter.
Okay, what's Tiger's style?
He's a boxer.
Yeah, so my point is, you know what I mean? Nick wants a certain style. Nick feeds on certain styles. And, you know, he's going to have a problem with Tiger.
Great point. And, Johnny, to that point, what style, when has Tiger been in trouble?
Bro, what?
Pressure. No, I just want to say, like, pressure pressure's his kryptonite, though. Like, you watch the Jamir Espinosa at 140, that's only an 8-round fight. 10 rounds, he loses that fight. Yomar Alamo, only 8-round fight. 10 rounds, Tiger loses that fight. Just watch the rounds from 6 to 8. 6, 7, and 8. In both those fights, he's hanging on. He's hurt in both those fights. He's hanging on. And, like, those are 140-pound fighters. Alamo and Jamir Espinosa, like, they're not anywhere near the level of Flaws. But they were able to eventually break distance and make it their type of fight, which is an inside fight. And for me, Tiger's uncomfortable on the inside. Tiger's got a great jab, and for him to win this fight, he has to break the rhythm of Flaws, right? He's going to have to break the rhythm, use his jab, create space and distance, and rack up the rounds. But Tiger's got low output for me. He's not a high output fighter. And now you have to ask yourself, is he going to do this for 6 rounds? Do you think Tiger can win 6 rounds breaking up the rhythm of Flaws? Or do you think it's more plausible that Flaws is going to break up the distance and win 6 rounds dictating his style of fight? So I see why it's 50-50, because you got 2 clashing styles here.
Yeah, I see. I really think that, me personally, I'm looking at Tiger Johnson here as just how I looked at Richardson Hitchens going into the George fight. I think what Tiger's missing is that sort of matchup to where we get to see him being challenged and tested. He's confident enough to bring out all these tools and skills that people have been with him since the amateurs. They all know that he has. I think he's going to have the speed advantage. I like his backhand. I don't like Nick's movement on you know, coming in and out. And dude, I wouldn't be shocked if Tiger dominates him. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing here, man. I think people are sleeping on how good Tiger Johnson is.
Okay. I can't even mention Tiger's name in the same with Africa Hitchens.
I'm just,
let me
I'm not comparing the two. I'm comparing think about the zeitgeist. But think about the zeitgeist of the boxing fandom before that fight. Everybody, you knew, I knew, we knew how good Richardson was, but people would sleep on him, and because he didn't have that moment, he has that moment. World champion now, and was a
But he
champion
did
going
have
into
that
the.
moment. I
Yeah,
picked him to beat Liam Paro. He became a world champion. Like
yeah,
the
I'm
George
talking the
Kambosos.
viral moment. I'm talking the viral moment, which then breaks through the zeitgeist of the boxing casual. You know what I mean? He didn't have his on the ropes moment. He didn't have that standing in the crowd moment that helps take a fighter to that next level. He ended up getting that moment. I feel Tiger is missing that, and I feel he's going to have that moment against Flash.
We
That's all I'm
all
saying.
thought though, like insiders of boxing fans, all thought, you including, knew that Hitchens, very very good fighter, underrated fighter. Like
Yeah.
his boxing kills, and this is just a comparison here. Hitchens versus Omar Alamo won every minute of the round, beat Alamo up, and then Alamo actually had to retire in his corner. That's how bad of a beating Hitchens gave. Now let's go to Tiger versus Alamo. I was at that fight. Tiger was competitive the first 4 rounds. After the fourth, was on survival mode, was getting beat to the body. Alamo was getting stronger, and then won the back half of that fight. And like I said, if it was a 10-round fight, Tiger would have lost. And this is only 3 fights ago. So, like, that's the difference between Hitchens goes in, dominates, and stops Alamo. Tiger goes in and looks suspect against Alamo, And now that was at 140. Now we're at 147. These are big guys. Tiger was the big guy at 140. He always had, he was always doing catch weights at 140. Top Rank had him as the big guy. He was always the bully. But now he's in guys that are cracking at 147. I mean, Flaws was fighting above 147. Flaws is going to be the bigger guy in the ring. So this is what I think there's a lot of, and plus he's the A side. You can say that he's the pro box fighter. It's going to be on neutral ground, but Flaws is the A side. I'm just seeing a hard time of Tiger being able to keep Flaws off of him, just because the tape tells me he hasn't been able to keep lesser guys off of him. Once Flaws is on the inside, like what's Tiger gonna do? Clinch 100 times?
I think that you guys are what I'm seeing is Tiger's going to be bigger at 147. He's longer at 147. Flaz is not that big. He's a bit small, and I think that Tiger's going to use that size for his advantage. I think he's going to have more power at 47. He's getting used to that. Stops Castaneda in his first output at 47. Castaneda's record is not remarkable, but people in the know how tough he is. His next fight wins the decision. I see a confident 27-year-old. I'm more comfortable with this pick, Tiger beating Flaz, than I'm sold on this one, man. I'm waiting till tomorrow till the odds keep going towards Nick. So I like how you're talking about Nick, because that means more money's gonna come on Nick, which will make my bet a little bit
I
heavier.
love
I love it,
Flaws
dude.
in this.
I think Tiger.
I
I
love
think
Flaws
Tiger
in this
shines.
spot.
I think Tiger shine.
Yeah.
I think Tiger shines against Nick, man. I think it's a perfect matchup for him. I love his timing on his backhand, his hand speed. I love his 1-2 countering, dude. This is a good fight. I like it. And let's Adu, you have time to count. Let's go, Adu. Let's go. TJ, how was the trip to? So you're back in the stateside, right?
No. I'm trying to get tickets tomorrow. My whole family got the flu. I'm the only one that survived.
Oh shit, dude! While I got you here, I do want to ask you. This is why I love this is why I love the chat, and I love the community, because we don't have to agree on everything, and we could do it with an educated perspective, right? Nobody's getting emotional. If you don't mind, because I'm currently taping David Stevens. He's going 15-2, 25-year-old kid, massive dog. All I'm going to ask you about is, do you think plus 380 is too wide going into the DFG fight, knowing that we've seen DFG in his last fight lose? We know they both fought Bektamir Melikuziev. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think plus 380 is too wide for Stevens as a dog? Do you think DFG should be on upset alert?
Yeah, so I'll just drop a couple things on that real quick. One, the price was more like plus 450 early in the week, so people have been betting Stevens, and I still think that's wide. But they have a common opponent, Beck. Beck to me looked somewhat flat when he fought Stevens. Stevens looked great in that fight, but I think Beck missed weight when he did fight against him. Beck looked very good, I thought, against DFG. So I don't know if we had the same version Beck versus both opponents. Just keep that in mind. And a big one for me is that this is in Texas. And, I've heard DFG has sparred Stevens many times. They wanted this fight. So I don't think they're setting up DFG to lose. I think they lost a close decision to Beck, and that can get erased if they beat Stevens. This is what I'm thinking, but I don't like the price. I can't take DFG at that price. It's way too wide because Stevens is a real guy. Like Stevens can beat him, and I do think the line is wide. But just hear me. I think there's a lot of things in the favor of DFG here.
Okay. See, I was talking more. What I was getting fixated on earlier watching the tape was how Stevens approaches the pocket, how he goes about his business, and then tight power puncher in the pocket. Gonna have. I like sometimes when the guy's shorter. Especially if you have that style. And then DFG sometimes for me defensively with his guard in the pocket, sometimes looks a bit leaky. Dare I say? I don't want to say uncomfortable because he's confident in the pocket. He likes kind of getting hit and catch and shooting there. But all right, move it. Do you see any other fights that jump off? I mean, there's a few fights. How about Vergil and Eric?
Vergil and Eric, look, Vergil's one of the best pressure fighters in any division. Very aggressive. He's very intelligent. He's got a great chin, great gas tank. He's going to be in your face. I think Lubin has to hurt him to win. Lubin's going to have to hurt him to win. Where I think Vergil can hurt him or Vergil can win on points. So I think this is Vergil. I can see a late stoppage or points for Vergil. That's where I'm going with it.
And do you think so? Vergil late stoppage or points?
I didn't like Lubin in his last fight against Ardell Holmes. I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, stopped him late. Got that late stop,
but it's not what he did. It's how he did it, and he took a long time against an opponent that didn't really want him to engage. Holmes was pity patting. Like Vergil would have had that version of Holmes out within 7 rounds. I think 6 or 7 rounds. Holmes also was the undefeated fighter, but if anyone watched the Wendy Toussaint fight, they did some home cooking there, and they stopped that fight early. Wendy Toussaint was on his way to beating Holmes. I remember that fight vividly because I had money on Holmes, and I got away with one there. So it's not like Holmes was Holmes had his flaws too. And obviously the Ramos fight, I thought it was more Ramos lost it than Lubin won it. I thought Lubin really didn't throw much in that either. So he's not going to win the fight like that. He's not going to win the fight how he fought Holmes. He's not going to win the fight like he fought Ramos. So
my hesitation with just totally dismissing Eric is the fact that Vergil doesn't have a lot of experience fighting southpaws. His last southpaw opponent was his last fight at 47. This will be his 5th fight at 54. He's just gone 24 rounds. 24 rounds. This guy had a 100% knockout to win ratio, and then he faces. I mean, what other guy at 54 is facing Madrimov and Boacek back to back? So the kid's a dog, right? But my point is, Eric has knockout power in both hands. He's a southpaw and uses his lead hand not as your atypical prodding jab style. He uses it as a power shot. He could crack with his lead hand and obviously his backhand, which he's looking to do more often. With Vergil, that atypical Mexican style, volume, hand speed in the wheelhouse. And I think Eric's most comfortable in mid-range. All right, before I get my point, who hits harder in your opinion, Boacek or Lubin?
Punch for punch, probably Lubin.
Okay. Now we know that Vergil wasn't necessarily hurt. He got, grazed. Those happen in boxing. You're just flash you right back up. It wasn't one of these instances where, you see a kid like we just saw it. Lyndon Arthur got dropped, I think, in the 2nd. He was freaking hurt. Bradley Ray, talk about a missed opportunity for Ray to not end the show. And thank God he didn't, because I won a lot of money on Lyndon.
Big difference though is Boa lets his hands fly. He doesn't care, right? I feel like Lubin is a lot more gun shy because he has been stopped before. He's been beat up before with we know Fendora. So I don't know. Like he didn't let his hands go against Ramos. I thought he could have let his hands go a lot sooner against.
Okay, then so why? How do you see that going late then? Because if that's the case, don't you think Verge and RGBA, the game plan is going to be, let's see if this kid is going to be gun shy. Let's drown him early. Let's get an early paycheck and get this kid out of there early. You know what I'm saying? Because if he's not going to pull the trigger, he's going to be hesitant. Verge coming downhill, that's a nightmare to deal with for a guy who really isn't going to have the output like Lubin.
But he's tough. He's still durable. I mean, look, even with the Fendora fight, we know he wanted to stay in that fight. His just face was breaking apart.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, he's still a dog. So in that sense, like, I give him the benefit of the doubt because he's on his feet, right? He was stopped standing. So
Yeah. He had to
I
dig
think he
deep.
could take, yeah, like Vergil doesn't have that one punch power, like it's accumulative. So
Yeah.
you see where I'm going with that, where Boots kind of more has, he's hitting you with the right shot at the right time. Virgil's just treadmill from hell.
Somebody brought up Trent Nonpearl says Holmes was a good amateur. I remember seeing him in the WSB get a big knockout. Lubin, too much experience for Holmes. See, my point that I didn't get to mention, I'm glad Trent says this, is Lubin and Holmes fought each other before in the amateurs. They knew each other. Those guys have a connection going back to when they were real young. And sometimes when you meet on the pro level with everything at stake, you're going to have this sort of like, it's different from not knowing, I know, there's some fighters who don't want to know shit about their opponent. They don't watch tape. Fight
Donnie, I don't
starts.
read into that. I don't read into
Okay.
that. Like,
Okay. So how do
like
you?
Guido Vianello. Everyone told me Guido Vianello would lose to Makhmedov. Makhmedov
Who
beat
told you
Guido
that?
up. Beat Guido. Well, listen, Makhmedov in the amateurs stopped Guido Vianello.
Yeah.
He stopped. It's not easy to stop somebody in the amateurs. He
Yeah.
stopped Guido Vianello. There was a lot of people that brought that fight up specifically that Guido wasn't going to be ready because they had the amateur experience and he was stopped. I mean, Guido just put a pasting on this guy. So, sometimes it means something, sometimes it doesn't. Tiger obviously has the amateur pedigree. It looks like he went to college and studied boxing. That's how
Yeah.
like he has a college degree in
That's
his footwork, his 1-2, and then you have someone like Nicholas Flores who looks like he learned everything off the streets. Like
yeah.
things he does, you're not supposed to do. Instead of throwing the 1-2, he throws the reverse 1-2. He throws the
Yep.
right and it catches you with the left. He's throwing 3 hooks in a row, one to the body, one to the chest, one to the head. Like his offensive arsenal is not things that you teach. It's either you have or he learned it from outside of somewhere from a boxing academy. He's got like a freestyle type of way. And Tiger's like the essence of, the boxing Olympic pedigree there. But like Flores said recently in an interview, he goes, I'm going to show Tiger that there's a difference between professional boxing and Olympic level boxing. They're two different sports. That's why also I love the confidence going into this. Tiger thinks it's his big moment. Flores thinks it's his big moment, and it's a crossroads for both.
Yeah, and to the point, just because I'm taking Tiger doesn't mean I'm not a fan of Nick. Nick, since that first round stop when he got stopped against Janelson, he's looked unbelievable. Even the fight against you brought it up in the Discord, Jahai. Look, that fight, Jahai Tucker was a kid. He's still a kid. Nick
He's
Flaz was on his
22. He's
Dude, he was
19.
19. He was
Yeah.
19 when he fought a 28-year-old Nick Flaz, dude. That's a nightmare fight. You know what I mean?
But look,
And
but Johnny, he then fought. So we can't give him credit for that fight. But then we give him credit when he fights his next fight against Luis Francisco Varone, who gave Brandon Adams one of his toughest fights. Like Jahai Tucker basically won that fight. That was a draw. Francisco Varone at light middleweight is probably at least a top 15, if not top 10 middleweight. Like we can give Jahai credit for that fight, but we won't give him credit for the fight before against Nicholas Flores.
My point wasn't that. My point is like when you're catching guys on the way up, timing is a thing. I rate Jahai Tucker, dude. Jahai Tucker's super, but he's still gonna grow exponentially with each fight. He's here, 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 here. When Nick and Jahai fought, Nick was like peak Nick. Nick is peak Nick right now. This is the best version of Nick Flaz. So this is why I'm excited for the tie.
Just to go
Yep.
off that, Flores what that fight wasn't at welterweight. Flores had to go up to Jahai Tucker. That was at light middleweight. So and
That's a good point. That's a
Flores was
good
coming
point.
off the. This is one thing I'll say about Flores. A lot of people don't know. When he got knocked down from Boca Chica, the first round knockout, he took 2 years off. Right? We'll know that he took 2 years off. His first fight back was on Pro Box against Brian Savallo. Brian Savallo was I believe he was an Olympian, a decorated amateur. He was a big A side in that fight. Flores asked for that fight. He goes, I want to come back and fight Brian Savallo. He's undefeated. I want to fight him. Off of 2 years. He went in off a 2-year layoff, off a knockout, and beat Brian Savallo, which I thought he probably beat him 5-3, 6-2. And then from that fight, he went on to go up and weight to fight Jahai Tucker. Like, those weren't gimmies. He was the B side on both those fights. So
All right, you asked me
it's badass. You don't hear a lot of fighters wanting that. Those are hard fights to come off of.
No, Nick Flies, dude, he ticks all the boxes. But you asked me when you got on if Tiger wasn't from Ohio, would I be taking him? If Nick wasn't Puerto Rican, would you be taking him?
You know what's funny, man?
Did you hear that?
I usually fade Puerto Rican fighters. And just so you guys know, let me tell you something. Here's something that you guys don't know. He's not really even Puerto Rican. He's not
They
really.
say,
You
isn't
know
he
where his
Dominican?
parents are from?
Is he Dominican?
His parents are Dominican. He just
Yeah,
happened to be born in Puerto Rico. He's really Dominican. Don't let him
I
fool
knew
you,
that.
man.
I knew
He's
that.
really Dominican. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
same
but
with Abraham Nova. Abraham Nova's parents are Dominican also, but you get a lot longer in the boxing world promotionally if you fly
yeah,
Puerto Rican flag right now. So
yeah. No, no,
but
no, no, man. I used to go. I used to go to the DR a lot, man. We used to go to the Dominican a lot. People don't realize that little island. I mean, you could see Puerto Rico from uh the DR, but it's Haiti as well. So you have this little island that's divided by religion. The South Island is like voodoo side Haiti, and the northern part of the island, the DR, is different. But it's an interesting thing about what. So you say the Puerto Rican flag due to promotional. I mean, Dominicans had some great fighters, wasn't?
now, so yeah, of course. I
No,
mean,
okay,
look, yeah. I've heard stories where they wouldn't pick up certain, like this is a few years back. Like, obviously, Puerto Rican has a history of boxing. Dominican doesn't. Dominican is big with baseball. So
yeah.
when you're promoting boxing, it's all about getting seats in, selling tickets. Top Rank especially was big with promoting Puerto Rican fighters. So that's all that is about. But he was born in Puerto Rico, but his parents are Dominican.
All right, so the move for you. So you're playing Nick. Are you playing Nick just on the money line?
I like flaws on the money line. I
Uh
think
huh.
he'll eventually get past that jab by the second or third round. Listen,
Uh
if
huh.
if Tiger's on his back foot, how long is he going to be on his back foot for? Tiger's
It's a
going to be
tech.
on his back foot, and then I see flaws taking over. I think his off. I think he's so offensively gifted, and I think he works the body well. I've seen Tiger so many red flags with Tiger. I've seen him wince from body shots and wince from overhand rights. And Floss has been on fire right now. So I couldn't even see a late stoppage. I could see Floss breaking them down. If
Mm,
this fight starts early in the center of the ring, Tiger's done. Tiger does not have an inside game. He only has one way to win it, and that's on the back foot, trying to steal rounds off his jab and right hand. That's going to only work for so long. I think Floss is going to figure it out, and it's going to be downhill. Floss, this is crazy. He reminds me a little bit of a Matias with better angles, better coordination, and like a craftier sense of punch selection. It's going to sound crazy, but it reminds me of it.
no, I heard it this week. Somebody actually compared Nick to a poor man's Matthias. I don't know. There's see when I look at Flaz's game, I see a lot of holes. I see a guy who doesn't hide any of his entrances. I see a guy who's predictable. I see a guy when you're talking about somebody who's an accurate puncher and somebody who's more technical. I see a guy who's food for that style. So it's going to be interesting. I think Nick's sort of lack of technique is going to be his downfall. And we'll see how he handles getting touched up, and we'll see how he handles being down on the cards. That desperation, in my opinion, could lead to him getting stopped late. So there's two sides to every coin, and I'm actually, like I said, Tiger's team chose this fight. It wasn't like they were running from this fight. Tiger's camp feels that they think they have a generational guy at 47. You know what I mean? And we'll see. We'll know after this fight. But
Thanks, Johnny.
yeah,
Johnny, thanks for having me on, man. I got to
you're
run, all right?
all right, kid. You be
I'll
good. Good
talk to
luck
you,
this
brother.
weekend. All right, be
All
good.
right.
All right, guys. So if you are in the Discord, that was Nick. That was TJ. Or, that was TJ from Chilltown Boxing. He's a beast. It's another example. We don't have to agree, but we could do it. We could do it educationally. Respectfully. We could respectfully disagree. No swearing. You guys notice that? No insults. No, like And this is my goal with the channel, is always the community aspect. So guys, if you're in the Discord and you want to come on right now, the link is in the Discord. If you guys want to join our boxing Discord, the link is pinned here. Johnny Says Insiders. You join on YouTube. It's a couple bucks a month. That's how you get into the Discord. I'll bring up the Discord now. I'll take some of your questions. DJ says he thinks Flaz has better skills than Matthias. There are some comparisons. Um, I just think that for every pro and con to every fight style, it goes both ways. You know, when we're putting our money, our hard-earned money on a fighter, it's important. It's sort of superstitious for us to have to go all in on the fighter that we're betting on. And you don't want to give the other guy any credit. But that's just not how I roll. You know, the way I bet is I start with the guy I'm betting against. I start with the compliments, and then I work my way back to the guy that I have my money on. If that makes any sense to you guys, I'm the weird one. Guys, like this video for me, subscribe. If you haven't already got to the Discord, do it. We're floating between 40 and 70. We're 30 minutes in. I'm going to stay on for at least another 25 minutes to give you guys a heads up the rest of the day. It's 7 a.m. in Sydney. I have clients downstairs in my gym at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and 11 a.m. I'll be going live again at 12 p.m. And then I have another client downstairs at 1. I'll be hopefully uploading DFG versus Stevens prediction, and then I'll be doing a live stream for the Australian card tonight. So it's a busy, busy week, busy day for me, busy week as well. So we're going to pull up the Discord real quick. Let's see what the boys in the Discord are saying. Scared money don't make money. Remember that, boys. Scared money don't make money. Watch Barrios, boxing booth, Stevens under, Ronnie right. He's definitely live, but his chin is suspect. So the boys are talking about David Stevens here. He's going to knock out Darius. Bricks thinks that he's going to knock out Darius. Mark my words. Does anybody know if the weigh-in will be streamed on them? So guys, this is our Discord right now. We have about 270 Johnny Says Boxing Insiders signed up to the Discord. We started about 13 weeks ago. And as you can tell, it's not just boxing. We have, these are my picks that you guys get. These are the bet slips when the boys win. UFC, MMA here. Basketball is popping. NFL is popping with college football. Shout out to Gil, my moderator. He has that hockey channel on lock. This is a level 3 membership for the fitness boys that I do. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. So I have a level of membership if you guys want to get fit and learn how to train. This is the level 3. Soccer is in there, and then we got a study area and then a bunch of other stuff. So there it is. High interest. I'm going to do my shot. What's up, high interest, my guy? Hopefully you're doing well. Appreciate the support. Sal's, but what's good, Johnny? I see in Vergil getting dropped plus 500, I believe. Ooh, nice little prop bet, Sal. I like it. I mean, why not? Will there be a knockdown in Vergil versus Lubin? Let's play that real quick, Sal. I'll bring up the odds. I think that's a really fun prop to play, especially considering both men's style. Johnny, but Vergil didn't get dropped in his last fight. And Vergil, you know, you don't have, let's see what it is either guy to be dropped. There he is. Will Vergil be knocked down? 5-1. 100 gets your money back plus 500. Will Lubin be knocked down? $1.53. I personally, I don't really like playing knockdown props. It's not my kind of, I'm not comfortable playing knockdown props. I'm not like confident going into it. You know what I mean? To be knocked down and win. Wow. Vergil to be knocked down and win. 1150. Huh. Interesting. Boxing fan. Tell these boys to hit the like. You know? Dust your shoes off. Hit that shoulder when you're coming in. Follow Mike TV. Mike's getting ready for his fight. 10-0 pro out of the UK. He's going to increase his record to 11-0. He fights first week in December. Follow Mike TV if you're in the UK. Go see his fight. Support the young fella. Johnny, do you think hand speed will be the difference in the Tiger fight? I think so. Hand speed, timing, accuracy. Now, look, guys, Tiger's in. This is a close fight, man. I'm not saying Tiger's going to wash Nick. I'm a fan of Nick Flaz. Nick Flaz is a tough out for anybody. This version of Nick Flaz is the best Nick Flaz. If this version of Tiger isn't the best version of Tiger, he's going to lose. You guys would be like, why are you betting on Tiger then? Because sometimes you have to believe in a fighter. I've watched Tiger since the amateurs, and everything that TJ was saying about Tiger, the downside I pushed back on. You know what I mean? And everything that he was saying he liked about Nick, I told him the opposite about Tiger. This is boxing. This is, these are the facts. He said that he doesn't like Tiger's inside game. I mean, what isn't to like about Tiger's inside game? He doesn't. I think he doesn't like Tiger's optics. There's a couple times where Tiger's optics in the inside, maybe he didn't look as comfortable. But like I said, he's 100% going in against the best version of Nick. Nick is going to look great in this fight. I'm banking on that Tiger's going to look great. Boxing, and like any other sport, the higher the competition, if you are that dude, will bring the best out of you. You don't make it to a level in the amateurs, you don't make it to a level in the pros without being able to step up in competition, without being able to perform on the. This is Tiger's first main event. This is it. Let's see it. Let's see it, Delonte. And I'm banking on that he's going to show up and show out. I think people really underrate him. There's a tournament on here this weekend. The odds are okay. A tournament. No shit. I'm going to check it out, Mike. I didn't know that. Looking forward to the Aussie card. Me too. This Aussie card is great. We covered all. I told you guys there's 4 fights that are being offered. I put up my parlay in the Discord. It's pays 340. So on the money line, you guys know I like Jazzy, I like Fatih, and I like Turner. I'm not playing the 4th fight, guys. Like the main event, Bala versus Sergey Vorbev. I watched the weigh-ins. Bala struggles on the scales. Vorbev, I don't even know how he makes weight. This looks like a fitness modeling competition, this main event, in terms of the boys are both in proper shape. I've seen both of them not look good before live. So I'm not betting the main event. These are my bets. And if you want to get sexy, method of victory, I like Jasmine Parr by decision. I like Munir Fatih by stoppage. And I like Mariah Turner. I'll probably just stick with the odds there. Maybe a decision. 147 is fine with me for to stick there. Let's see Jasmine by decision. Yeah, $1.45. So I like Jazzy by decision at $1.45. This is if you're playing method of victory. I like Munir by stoppage, $1.81. This will be my prop of the week. So $1.81. This is going to be akin to, a couple months ago, we got Joshua Kelly to stop Flavio Bea at $1.90. I put, I think, 500 on that, and we got almost 500 back. I'm going to go equally as heavy. I like Munir Fatih to stop, and I love these odds. $1.81. So that's going to be my prop of the week. That's tonight. I've seen Fatih fight a couple different times. He has a lot of energy about him. He's coming off that Wade Ryan stoppage victory, impressive on the undercard of Cesar Vaca, Sam Goodman. And ironically enough, the kid who's headlining this card, Vorbev, has a loss against Wade Ryan. It just kind of shows you Munir. I like the way they're handling his career too. He's just slowly coming up, slowly coming up. There's a lot of these guys in Australia on the domestic scene that people really don't know their names, but they are a problem. So Darren Gala Trehella is another one. I think Darren Gala is probably 23 now, 24. Don't quote me on his age. He's a younger pro, but Darren Gala Trehella is another one of these guys. Who's another one? We just saw him fight. Who's the kid who fought on the Michael Zarafa undercard who beat my boy Bruno Tarima? Who beat Bruno? The kid who beat Bruno is the real deal as well. Damu Brat, what's up, Playboy? I appreciate you. I appreciate the support, guys. Wherever you're tapping in, wherever you're tuning in, whether we agree or we don't agree, I appreciate you. We don't have to agree. No, what world do we live in that we can't be friends if we disagree? That's not this space. TJ and I, as you can tell, we have a friendly back and forth. It's competitive though. You ain't gonna come up on my platform and act like I ain't gonna push back on you, boy. But we do it respectfully, and I think it's more fun. I'm a competitor, man. I love when we're not agreeing, but we're doing it respectfully. You don't have to worry about any sort of like personal jabs or that's not what you're gonna get here. So moving forward, guys, if anybody wants to come on and do what TJ and I just did, you're more than welcome. Behind the scenes, one of our moderators, boxing fan, and I already ran this idea by Breaking Bad boxing. His name's Nick. I brought this up last night on the live stream. We're working behind the scenes on developing a new product on the channel, and it's going to be like a versus battle just like you just saw. We're going to have a fight. We're going to feature a fight. We're going to market it. I'm going to market it on my Instagram. I'm going to market it on my YouTube. You boys can market it as well. And it will be all marketed around an upcoming big fight. And maybe we'll put a clock and maybe we could do a vote. We'll see, we'll let you boys on the chat vote, like vote one if this guy won, vote two if this guy won, and it's all going to be a debate back and forth. But the key points to the debate are educative, respectful. We're trying to do this at like a certain class level, like high IQ sort of things, like no swearing, no personal jabs, and I think our sport needs that. When you look around on social media channels, and I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody, but unfortunately, we live in the day and age of virality and somebody's mic dropping on somebody and people are just talking like they have an IQ of 14. That's not what we want. We want to grow our sport by doing it the right way, the proper way, like you just saw with TJ and myself, coming at it with facts, coming at it with historical points, coming at it with knowledge, and more importantly, coming at it with respect, not only for the guy you're debating, but respect for the game and respect for the chat. Because that's something that doesn't get spoken. You guys don't want to be around two people swearing and talking trash. That negatively impacts everybody involved without you even knowing it. So that's where we're at. Stay tuned. I appreciate boxing fan. Yeah, boxing fan moderator, man. He's a valued asset. Yes, write this kid's name down, Rita. Ahmad Rita, stud. Man, I got to see him fight live. I'm a fan, dude. How he handled Bruno was very impressive. I had Bruno going to that fight. Bruno had been in there with some world class guys, and Ahmad Rita is a young kid. And I put Munir. He's younger in the approach, but you throw him into this category of domestic fighters in Australia that aren't household names. That hopefully I think one of the good things that have come from Tim Tszyu leaving Australia, this isn't supposed to sound controversial, but No Limit Promotions have gotten away way too long with having a monopoly on the marketing of Australian fighters, and a lot of guys and girls haven't been marketed properly because of No Limit's one-sided approach to certain fighters. We know that, right? And hopefully with No Limit, Tim leaving, and there's room for finally other and there's other promotions. Shout out to SLB. The put it this way, the guy promoting the card tonight in Melbourne. This is why the odds aren't 18-1. This is why you're seeing fights that are you know even $1.27. You're seeing 50-50 fights. If this were a no limit card, Jazzy Parr. This is the first fight I've seen Jazzy fight an opponent other than Shannon O'Connell. Look at Jazzy's last few opponents. 15-1. And so this is a testament to the promotional company. And my point is, hopefully moving forward, the guys like Ahmad Rita, guys like Munir Fatih will have more opportunities within the country to then expand their brand and get opportunities on the world stage. Australia has a lot of really, really talented fighters that people don't know about because we're kind of in a bottleneck. To get out of Australia, you have to, it's like a meat grinder. You have to beat a lot of really, really tough guys, and there's not a lot of positions. There's not a lot of opportunities. TJ and Raphael, married couple bickering, same as uh I don't know these guys. See, I'm a nerd. I I know Dan Raphael. I don't know who TJ is. Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora. Yeah, I don't watch any of these guys, and nothing against them. It's not. I'm not standing on my high horse. I don't watch people's content because I'm no that. I'm in my own zone. I'm so fixated on growing this. I run my other business, my what keeps the lights on, my strength and conditioning company, both in person and online. So I don't really watch other people's content. I do show love to uh, Tommy Randone and Paulie Malignaggi. I watch their show. That's about it. I watch Gary from 3D. I watch his show, but I don't. There's only so much time in a day. This is a one man project right now, and so yeah, we only have so many hours in the day. TJ runs a YouTube channel, Boxing Pitch Producer, usually airs every Friday. Perfect. I'm sure they do great. I'm sure they do great work. Dan Raphael, if that's who you're talking about, I mean, he's been in the game for decades, and so I'm sure you're getting good content with those guys. I'm sure they're doing their best to give you good advice, and that's what the sport needs. We don't need people giving you certain takes just for the sake of going viral. Boxing, people die in our sport. You know what I mean? You could die in the ring. So I come at that with a revelry and sort of an admiration. Being around boxing since I was a kid, since I was 7. I'm 43 now. I reference that because the time in work is like you should handle this with a certain respect. And I don't know if they do, but Dan Raphael, I mean, he's been a journalist since I think the late 70s. He's been in the game for a while. Did you create your thumbnails? Which thumbnail? Oh yeah, I do everything, man. I do everything, dude. I'm a one man show. I don't have help, which is fine with me. I'm learning on the job. How durable is Lubin? He's been stopped twice, right? He only has 2 losses. Eric in 2017, when he was a 20-year-old, he got stopped in the first round against Charlo, and then we know in his fight against Seb Fundora, he wanted to continue though, and those cards were pretty even. He got dropped in the second. He dropped Seb in the 7th. The fight gets stopped in the 9th due to swelling. He's a beast, man. He's durable. Eric is a dog, man. And it's something that I touched on with TJ is I brought up the fact he didn't play with the idea too much, but I set him up with the fact that Vergil's style doesn't age well. Mexican style, prod forward, in the wheelhouse the entire time, gets hit a lot, there to get hit. We've seen him buzz before. He's just gone 24 straight rounds and 2 Serhi and Madrimov. So, that style is good until it isn't. So you got to how durable is Vergil for up until now? I mean, did Boacek drop Michael Fox? If we play that game, Michael Fox dropped Boacek late in the with 10 seconds left in the last round. Boacek got dropped against Fox, and we saw Brandon Adams steamroll Boacek. Now, why? Because Boacek's style doesn't age well. That style is very similar to Vergil. Now, Vergil's the more skilled guy, better feet, more hand speed, a little bit more thudding power. But my point is, it works until it doesn't work. And Eric hits way harder than Boacek. So when you mix that in with the fact that Boacek caught Vergil twice, if Eric catches Vergil on the come in, and like I said, he's fighting a southpaw. Eric's a southpaw, a big hitting southpaw who cracks with both hands. Like the way when you look at Eric's style, he's southpaw. He's not using his jab hand as like a normal guy. He's using his lead hand to throw power shots too, basically to set that one up. Bro, Eric could crack, dude. That's all I'm saying. Maybe that knockdown prop might not be a bad shot if you want to play props. Lubin was real tentative his last fight. Could have applied a lot of pressure. I think he's definitely more aware. Yeah, no, Lubin has, bro. I do. Lubin has miles on him, man. Lubin has miles on him. I'm not gonna call him washed, but Lubin is an old 30-year-old. In the body, he is mild, man. He went pro young, dude. When did Eric turn over? I think Eric turned over in 2013. So we're going into 2026. Eric turned over as a 17-year-old. I think he was 17 or 18 years old. He's been fighting at the high level. This is another thing, guys. Eric dodges no smoke. He's been fighting at a high level, for years. And when you look at his resume as well, man, he's been in there. So I'm not going to sit here and be the type of guy to talk trash about Lubin. I don't think he's that. There's so many fighters like Eric who come and go. They never get the flowers they deserve. And this is a tough fight for him. Vergil's a dog. It's wild to think neither guy has ever been a world champion. This isn't for a world title. This is for an interim. You know what I mean? To think that Lubin's never been a world champ. To think Vergil at 27, guys, is it fair to say that we all thought by now at 27 Vergil would have been a world champion? Either 47 just hasn't happened yet. Yeah, dude, right? And I talked about this in my upload. If you watch my Stats Don't Lie video, they rushed him, man. You put a 20-year-old kid against a prime Charlo, dude. That version of Charlo in 2017, dude, is a nightmare. He's fighting a 20-year-old kid, and this was my point about Nick Flaz versus Jahai Tucker. Jahai Tucker, in watching TJ just dismiss that dude, Jahai Tucker was a teenager fighting Nick Flaz, and that fight was a close decision. And Nick was Nick was 28 fighting a 19-year-old. I think Jahai was 19, 18 or 19, maybe 19. So, and that was my point. Is like when you catch a guy is very important. When the most famous example of when you catch a guy was kind of like how Floyd operated in that second half of his career. Very businesslike, very wise, very smart when he was catching guys. And sometimes that happens by choice, by strategy. Sometimes it's just life. The timelines add up that way. But Jahai Tucker is not. Every version of Jahai we're gonna watch for the next few years is gonna be leveling up. I'm a fan of Jahai, but that kid fighting, dude, that kid fighting Nick Flaz as a teenager is insane. So I don't give that much credence to Nick beating a teenage Jahai Tucker, considering Jahai Tucker's not his complete package yet. You guys see what I'm saying, guys? I gotta wrap this up. Let's be honest, Lubin. I didn't think so. I thought Ramos beat him. I'm not lying to you. I'm a fan of Jesus Ramos, man. Where's he been at? He's moved up from 54 to 60. We haven't seen him. I'm a fan, dude. Jesus Ramos is a nightmare. I want to see how he looks. Maybe he's recovering from injuries. I don't know. But I thought Ramos beat Lubin. Yeah, Lubin. Eric's a real warrior, man. Guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm going live 2 more times today. You guys got me at 12 p.m. So I'll be live again in 4.5 hours. I'll set it up so you guys can see. And then I'll be live for the fights tonight in Australia. And fingers crossed I get my DFG versus David Stevens prediction uploaded. If you guys haven't watch my Jazzy Parr versus May Solomon upload. Watch my Tiger versus Flaz upload. And watch my Vergil versus Lubin upload. I appreciate all you guys. Until the next one.